So what I would like to see on this page, I need you to find the vertex, make a table, and then I need you to graph it, okay? Now remember, to find the vertex, you're always going to set the inside equal to 0. Only what's inside the absolute value alone, okay? Okay, so let's take a look at number 1. So for problem number 1, set the inside x minus 2 equal to 0, and then solve that for x. So that would be x equals 2. Okay, so we're going to need to make a table with 2 on it, and then usually it will work pretty well if you just count 1 backwards and 1 forward from that x value. Now we're going to plug those in. We have to follow our rules of order of operations. If we let x equal 1, so remember, each time we're just subbing out the x and replacing it with our table value. So we get the absolute value of 1 minus 2 minus 4, okay? So the absolute value of 1 minus 2 is the absolute value of negative 1. Get that answer, and that answer becomes positive. So you would get 1 minus 4, which is negative 3. And then let's do it again for a value of 2. Now remember, our equation is the absolute value of x minus 2 minus 4. So it's the absolute value of 2 minus 2, or 0 minus 4. 0 minus 4 is negative 4. And then finally, the 3. What value should we expect to get for 3 if we get it right?
Negative 3.
Negative 3. Remember, these two work and match. If it's working, those two should match. So remember, the v, unlike a line, which we would continue down that same pattern like to negative 5, these are v's, so they pop back up the other way. So you should expect that we should get negative 3 again, and that's a way to check your work, okay? So if we plug in 3, we get the absolute value of 3 minus 2, which is the absolute value of 1, or 1. 1 minus 4 is indeed negative 3. So remember, that absolute value only makes what's inside's final thing positive, okay? So now that they match, now the third step on these problems is to graph it. So at 1, we're at negative 3. At 2, we're at negative 4. And at 3, we're at negative 3. And so then I expect you to keep that same kind of slope of each half. That's a positive 1 slope. This side is the opposite, and it should be a negative 1 slope. Okay? Please try to make it fit whatever size graph paper you've made. Make the arrows on the end, continue that outward. It's making a V that's continuing, okay? So remember, each one of these problems, what is your vertex? So set the inside equal to 0. Make a table of your vertex point and then 1 below it and 1 above it. The way to kind of check that your vertex is right, these two values should be the same. If they're not, check your work. You did something weird. Either you chose the incorrect vertex or you just plugged it in funky. Okay, let's do one more that's down more below. I'm going to do number 12 with you. Okay. Now, even though number 12 has all kinds of different pieces to it, what this does is this is going to actually scooch it over to the right. This is going to move it down a little bit, and this is going to flip it over. So if there's a negative on the outside, expect that your V should be upside down. So 11 is upside down, 12 is upside down, 9 and 10, they're upside down, 7 and 8 are upside down. 1 through 6 are not. They're all positive shaped V's. The second page, they should all be upside down, okay? So let's do number 12 together. So remember, the first step is to find your vertex. You only pull out what's inside. Don't worry about what's on the outside. Will come from plugging stuff in. So x minus 1 equals 0. How do we solve that? What do you do? Yeah, so you set the inside equal to 0. How would we solve x minus 1 equals 0? Yeah, you're just going to move that 1 over by adding it. Exactly. And so you get x is equal to 1. So now that we know our vertex happens at 1, just plug in something below that or something above that. That's all you got to do. And so I usually take 1 away and add 1 to it. And the third thing now is to graph it. But we haven't finished our table yet, so let's wait for number 3. Let's finish our table. So if x is equal to 0, we're sticking the x right there. Now we have to follow order of operations when we do that. So we're going to get the negative absolute value of 0 minus 1 minus 1. Now these ones people tend to mess it up, so follow along please. 0 minus 1 inside the absolute value is negative 1. What is the absolute value of negative 1? 1. But there's a negative out in front of it. So it's technically the opposite of that. So what's the opposite of 1? Negative 1. So this becomes a negative of the 1 that you found, minus 1, or negative 2. Okay. Let's do it again. Now this time we're plugging in or substituting in 1. So it's going to go right here. So it's the opposite of the absolute value of 1 minus 1, or that vertex usually should give you 0 on the inside. That's what you planned. And 0 minus 1 is just negative 1. That negative 1 on the outside just took that and kind of squishes it down a little bit. And what should we get when we plug in 2? What should we get when we plug in 2? What should it match? Yeah, it should match this one. So let's put it here, but let's check our work because that can really tell us if we're doing it right. If we plug in 2, I'll do it right here. I get a negative absolute value of 2 minus 1. The negative of 1 is negative 1. That's negative 2. Guess what? It came out to be a negative 2 after all. So it's just a really nice check that you should be able to kind of verify, hey, yeah, I'm coming back up and doing the V shape that I want. So at 0, we are at negative 2. No, we're not. Yeah, we are. At 1, we're at negative 1. At 2, we're at negative 2. And it is an upside down V, just like I expected. So a negative in front of any sort of graph makes it go the opposite direction across the x-axis. So all the ones on the second page should be upside down V's or you did something wrong, okay? So your job is to do those 3 steps on each one of these problems. Find the vertex by setting the inside equal to 0. Make a table of the vertex value, 1 below it, 1 above it. Make your V. Okay? Do we have any questions about your assignment for today? So there you go.